Okay, so welcome to tonight's Coach Basics call. Tonight is, let's see, January 14th. And as I told you guys last week, I don't structure Coach Basics calls very much intentionally. So that way it's really just my time to give to you guys, find out what's going on, what I can be of help with, where roadblocks are, answer questions, give encouragement. I was talking with a coach, a seasoned coach who should know better tonight. And we had planned on talking at 8:40. And I said, are we still on for 8:40? And she said, well, I'm kind of discouraged because the class that I teach is not going so great. And I had a couple prospects and they decided to sell Plexus Slim, which is like not very good stuff. And so anyway, she said, so there's just not much to report going on. And I said, her name. And I said, now's the perfect time for us to have a talk because you need to be lifted up, there are times when you need to just reach out to your upline coach and say, I am freaking discouraged, or I am so overwhelmed, I don't even know what to do. There are those times. And so that is what we are here for, whether it's with your own health and fitness. I've got one coach who I love her to death. And at some point, she is going to be a rock star coach when she's ready for the business. Right now, though, she's going through a lot of crap. And, just different life circumstances. There's divorce and custody battles and sick kids and overwhelmed with work. And then, she's trying to get her own health in order too. And so we have conversations all the time that is just helping her get to where she needs to be, And so don't ever think that you're only allowed to reach out to your upline coach or myself if it has to do with business stuff. It's not. This is about so much more than just prospects and sales and that kind of thing. So anyway, that being said, always welcome calls and meeting times and that sort of thing with your upline coach, because there's always something that comes of value out of meeting. And I'm not saying that I've got so much to give you. I'm not saying like that, but I always get something out of talking with every single person. And I think that usually is the case when you're meeting with somebody who cares and is just part of this family of coaches. We all have different ideas and different ways to do things, and so we'll bounce ideas off of each other. And I met with another diamond coach yesterday, and she didn't really have questions or anything going on, but we just talked about what we had coming up and ended up being able to collaborate on something. And so there's always value that can come out of conversations with cool people. That being said, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions, not to put you on the spot, but really to just reconnect and make sure that we're all on the same page, and that by the end of the 30 days, because man, it's almost halfway up, that you are where you need to be. One is, how is your personal development going? What are you reading or listening to? And do you feel like that's good for you, or do you need something different? Kenzie, you're not muted, so I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Okay. I have been reading Women Who Think Too Much. Definitely something that's helped me over the past week or so. I struggled at first with personal development, not something I do every day. So just starting into it, I've learned a lot.
Cool. So is it just talking about that personality type, where is it the personality type that kind of analyzes everything and has to know everything, or what's the point?
A lot of it, they've given a lot of different scenarios with, they kind of have done some studies between, they've picked a group of people, some older, some younger, a lot of the older people don't overthink, but the younger people are constantly going. And that is me. So learning to kind of let things go, sweep it under the rug.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I don't know that I am that person, but I think that would be super valuable for me to read as I'm working with those people, because there are tons out there, and I may go through a period where I'm like that, but in general, I let things go really easily, which can be a fault too, so, but I met with somebody this morning who's a prospect, and I could tell that is probably her personality type, because we've already had Zoom chats about coaching. She's already gone through the coaching sneak peek at least once, and yet she still wanted to meet to talk about coaching. And then when I got there this morning, she still had more questions, and she said, well, I didn't see very much on the website about it. I'm like, how much more do you want me to give you? Like, you've watched a 1-hour webinar, you've gone through the sneak peek, so anyway, she sounds like the typical person who's probably like way overthinking this, like it is not that hard. Yeah. So that could be really helpful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Do you think it's an easy read, or is it kind of take a lot of brain cells?
There's a few big words in there.
Okay.
But other than that, it's pretty easy. Pretty good to go.
Okay, cool. Women who think too much is what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, awesome. Did I tell you what the second thing was that I wanted to ask about?
Well, I don't remember.
That must have just been in my head. Okay, well, we'll move right on. Hey, Stephanie, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, awesome.
Okay, so.
Can I interrupt you real quick and ask you a question?
Sure.
So, it's been some time since I've been in another, like direct sales company or whatever. Are the other things that you've done these days, do they focus on personal development or no?
Yes.
That's good. So were you able to already have that as a habit?
Yes, and it's kind of nice to incorporate on a normal basis, because my role at my full-time job also kind of relates in a roundabout way.
Cool.
So it's nice to be able to kind of pull it all together.
So now what are you reading now, and what do you like?
Okay, so what I'm reading now is called The 7 Levels of Communication.
Okay.
And it's by Michael Maher, Maher.
Okay.
And it's kind of built for real estate, but and it's a more story based, but it's a teaching story.
Yeah.
So it's a real easy read and a lot of like aha moments.
Nice. Have you read let me pull it up on my iPad here real quick. I don't know that it would be the exact same. So you like it is the end result.
Yeah, I haven't even finished it yet, but I think I got through like the first chapter and I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't one of those like, it wasn't trying to overteach. It wasn't an overly uptight book. It was so story related that it seemed like it gave more real life scenarios that you could get it outside of the teaching aspect.
Cool. I'll have to look and see if it's on Audible. The other book that I was it's kind of set up in a similar way, but it's called Go Giver. And I would recommend that to both of you guys. Go Giver by, let's see, Bob Burg, B-U-R-G. But it's set up similar in the story aspect, and it's a really good one to use across lots of professions. But I'll have to check out both of those. That's awesome. Okay, so then Tell me, and this is sort of for my own benefit, as a new coach coming in, do you feel like you understand our team vision of incorporating people into free groups? And do you feel comfortable sharing about the free groups that we've got going on or are coming up? And so be very honest, because it's a brand new thing, and I want to make sure that we do a good job explaining it and rolling that out to people. So if you guys see as new people things that we could do better, then I am all ears. What's your impression?
So I don't really have an impression. Not that anybody has done anything wrong. It just hasn't been a huge focus of mine so far.
Okay.
Probably because I'm still trying to figure out the line between this and Juice Plus.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at, and I kind of feel like, and we've kind of talked about this, that I know enough about like coaching basics or running a business. I don't know more about, I don't feel confident enough to direct customers in the right direction outside of that. Just because I just haven't learned enough about everything yet. But that's, all website stuff that I need to work through.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm following. Let me think more on that to respond to you. Is that okay?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Okay. Kenzie, why don't you go ahead?
I feel like there's been a lot to learn. And in a few days, I feel like when I sit down with Christy, I feel like I learn a lot more to how to communicate to me more and things like that. So I'm still a little iffy on that, I would say.
Hold on a second. Hey, Stephanie, will you try and mute yourself? I'm not sure if it's you or what's going on, but now there's wacky noises.
I hear it too.
Okay. Okay, Kenzie, let's try again. You said when you sit down with Christy.
I feel like I can communicate with her better than reading something. I'm more of, not that that's a hands-on type, but I'm a little more hands-on.
Okay. Like talking things through?
Yeah. I wouldn't say 100% comfortable. I feel like I focused more on learning everything all at once and not focusing on one thing.
Okay. Which is why you're reading Women Who Think Too Much.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. So there is another book for another day after you need more called The One Thing. And it is awesome because I, in a different way, would focus on 100 different things and so I was not being very productive at anything because I had so much going on. And so that really, it's a really good book for that aspect of, working on yourself. I think so tell me what you're focusing on, like give me a handful of the things that you're focusing on. And let's narrow them down.
I feel like a large thing is my personal development. I feel like going through, just reading about the things that we've done so far, whether it be, trying to figure out some of like our Facebook stuff and learning about what people have done and those types of things. I feel like I've tried to focus maybe more on myself than how are we going to put people in what that business part of it.
So you think that you're focusing more heavily on personal development right now?
I feel like I felt a lot better in the past week that I have focused on that.
Okay.
That's been something that I haven't done.
Okay. So basically, we need to learn how much time you've got and then be able to divvy it up appropriately. Is that sort of where you're going with this?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know how much time you have each week to spend on Beachbody, including personal development?
I mean, I typically multitask while I'm at my full-time job. So I do a lot of listening. Today with CEO to CEO, a lot of that I listen and, you know, multitask in that aspect. But probably a week, I'd probably say like an hour a day.
Okay. Okay. So here's what I would do. I would divide it up. Let's just say that you're getting your personal development outside of your 1 hour. Okay. And let's just say that is, even if you count your Coach Basics training as part of that, you know, because you're almost done. The one after you get through those CEO to CEO videos, all the modules are way faster and shorter. So you're going to end up being done really soon, which is great because then that's like off your plate. And then whether you decide to actually sit down and read a book on your lunch break or have something, you know, going through your head that's audio, that can be done in the car, or, you know, when you're multitasking. Okay. So now you've got 1 hour a day and you got to figure out what to do with it. You've watched, at that point in the modules, you've already seen the Power Hour video, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what that really looks like is you've got your list of prospects. Do you have your list yet?
I do.
Yes. Okay. So you've got your list and your first 15 minutes, and I literally use a timer, you know, like have the timer there so that you're not looking at the clock every 2 seconds. Just that way you can totally focus for 15 minutes on adding as many people to your contact list as possible. Now, have we talked at all about how to add people to your contact list? Like, where are they going to come from?
I feel like I guess we haven't discussed it, but I feel like Christy and I have, and kind of through everything, I feel like I've kind of
figured that out. Okay. Okay. So to recap stuff that she may have already told you, easy ways that I think are first to go to friends who are not Beachbody coaches, you know, maybe they're high school friends or, you know, college friends or whatever, where they may have friends in common, you know, like mutual friends. So you go through their friend list and see, oh yeah, I did meet her at a party. Friend that person. So pick several key people who seem to know a lot of people and go through their friends and add friends that way. Another easy way is to join groups and build relationships on Facebook groups that have nothing to do with Beachbody. So it may be a scrapbooking group. It may be a pink lovers group, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So your first 15 minutes, your goal is to add people. The second 15 minutes is to simply start conversations with as many new people as you can. So maybe you don't add people yet, but maybe you're just on that group page starting a conversation with somebody. And so you jot their name down. So that's where we're talking about forming. So we're going to form those people. So when you ask somebody about themselves, then you may calendar out their name a couple of days, and then you've got a follow-up scheduled to say, hey, I need to take this conversation to the next step. Haven't heard from them. What's going on? If you get crickets and you are friends with somebody, then I always suggest going to their wall, see what's going on in their lives. Maybe there's a very legitimate reason that they haven't been able to get back to you because there are kids in the hospital, like stuff happens. So I will, a lot of times, if I'm wanting to talk to somebody, just like I mentioned on the team call last night, or maybe right before it, there was somebody who I invited like 3 years ago, and she just last night messaged me. And I had pretty much discounted her. I was never probably going to message her again because I've asked her so many times and she hasn't responded so many times that I was shocked. And then tonight, right before our call, she said she was going to go ahead and purchase it. I'm like, holy cow, So if there are crickets, for me, the thing to do is to go to their wall and keep them on your prospect list, but just comment on their posts, and tag them and make sure that they know that you're not all about Beachbody. You care about what's going on in their lives on their wall. Okay, so that's the second 15 minutes. Then your third 15 minutes, of course, is inviting. And here's where sometimes, at least for me, I used to get hung up a lot because there was a lot of times when I did not feel like the relationships were ready for me to invite people, and especially as a new coach, there's going to be a significant number of people that you're just like, I'm not ready to invite that person, like I just started talking to him after 10 years and now I'm going to invite him to join a 30-day challenge group. That's just not, it doesn't flow well. So for everybody, you can, in the middle of a conversation, even say, hey, by the way, on Monday, I'm going to be in this 7-day free paleo group. Is that something that has any interest to you? Because if it could benefit you, then I'll go ahead and add you. So just make it very nonchalant, and those 3 words, by the way, are awesome to be able to fit into any conversation that's already, you're either in the middle of the conversation or maybe you've ended the conversation, but you kind of want to go back to them, and without making a huge deal out of the invite, just say, oh, hey, by the way, I forgot to ask you if you'd be halfway interested in doing this free paleo group that I'm going to be in. I would say, as a new coach, it's more valuable for you to say that I'm in, that I'm going to be that I'm going to be going through on Monday, versus I'm going to be coaching a group of ladies on 7 days of how to eat a paleo diet, because that sounds more salesy than, here's what I'm doing. Do you have any interest in this whatsoever? Because that's just more like, I'm your friend and I'm going to do this. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe we'll gain 10 pounds, but I'm going to do this. You want to try it with me? So to me, I can ask anybody on the street that sort of question. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you feel comfortable talking to people about the free group, because that's the top of the funnel, and that's the first layer where anybody and everybody can join. Now, I'll tell you, the other day I posted on it was actually on my like page, but you could do it on your personal page, a little blurb about the free group, and you can go to my wall and see what I posted and steal the verbiage if you would like. But I mentioned something to the effect of, if they want to participate, go ahead and tag a couple friends that might want to do it with you, because it's more fun doing that stuff with a friend. And so then people were tagging their friends, and then their friends were saying, I'm in. Would I have ever met those friends if I hadn't asked them to tag their friends? No. So that's an awesome way to totally blow up something that could be tiny into more and more people. And the great thing about getting into little groups of friends like that is that a lot of times once they have success as a little group of friends, they'll want to continue on as friends, you know? So you may be able to fill a whole challenge group with one little group of friends, and that's a beautiful thing, you know, because they're always more successful when they know people going through it and they've got that deeper level of support from people that they know and already care about. I'm trying to think of what the last 15 minutes is because I divide my time up slightly different as a leader. But does that help at all?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the other thing that as new coaches I want to make sure that you guys understand is sort of the flow. There's a monthly flow to our team. And though it's on that monthly events file on the team page, but you'll see that the first Monday and the third Monday are always busy start dates of things. So the first Monday, you've got challenge group, you've got a free group, and you've got coach basics. That third Monday is always a second challenge group of the month and the sneak peek. Now, being comfortable inviting to the sneak peek is also something different. And there are going to be people that it depends on how you invite people. If you say, I think you would be the most amazing coach. Have you ever considered doing this? There's going to be a pretty limited number of people that you would feel comfortable inviting, right? Because you're a brand new coach yourself, and you may know of people who you're just like, oh my gosh, they would be so good at this, you know, and it's okay to go to those people and say, hey, I don't know if you've ever considered this, but there's going to be this free group. You could just get in the group and read the posts every day. And if you have any questions, you can ask questions. Well, I think that there's a better way to go about it. Or maybe it's not better, but for most people it's better. If that situation fits that person, then go for it. But for most people, as a brand new coach, you can simply say to them, hey, I'm sure you are wondering why I've been blowing up your news feed with all of these posts about fitness and nutrition now. I would love for you to see what the heck I've gotten myself into. There's going to be a free group starting on Monday, and that way you can see what these challenges are that I'm talking about and what this business is that I've started, and you can give me your honest opinion, and your feedback would really mean a lot to me. I know this is probably not for you. And say that. I know this is probably not for you, but I would love for you to give me your opinion on what this is that I'm doing. And that takes the pressure off of them. It allows them to make that barrier come down that initially went up, like, whoa, you're not going to sponsor me or recruit me to do anything, you know? So I highly recommend sort of that wording. You can also say, that way, if you ever know of somebody who would be interested in this opportunity, you could let me know. So you're sort of opening up the referral aspect as well. Okay. Here's what I want to sort of give you direction on and sort of just give you a projection of the next 2 weeks. Both of you guys, Stephanie, tell me, Kenzie, you shared your story. Stephanie, do you want to feel out what your story is, or did you share anything on your wall yet?
I haven't shared anything on my wall yet just because I don't feel like I'm completely ready.
Right, yeah. Well, and that's partly what we've got to figure out, the how it all works together and how it meshes, so that we can make sure that we're smart about it. So let me think through that a bit, because obviously nothing will be sold until people know that you're in business. So as long as you're okay with that, then that's fine. But I just want to make sure that I'm trying to keep the whole group together as a whole, or at least on the same page, you know. So the second part of the month, you guys will be finishing up the module, and then there are still some things to be put in your Evernote notebook under coaching systems. And then, Kinsey, tell me, and I apologize for not looking far enough down in my downline to see, have you had any sales?
Yes, before we started, I did.
So what month was that?
Ooh, December.
Okay. So it would be, and do you remember when your official start date was as a coach? Or, I mean, what month? It doesn't matter the date, but what month?
November.
December. Okay. Okay. Then what I would like to see you do is to be forming the heck out of every single person that you know in January, so that when February comes, you'll be very well set up to participate in the Team Cup and hit Success Club in February. And I'm trying to call it the Help 3 Plus Club, but I don't want that to be confusing for new coaches calling it two different things. So, because corporate still calls it Success Club. But getting your own cost covered, to me, is a big, I feel like that's my responsibility to help you do that initially. So I want to make sure that we have enough Shakeology customers that your costs are covered, and that way you can move forward with confidence. So that is what I would like to, and Christy may also be working closely with you on that. But that is my focus for the second half of the month. We've been digging into the learning piece, and now we just have to bite the bullet and make some things happen to get those first initial customers, and that's really going to boost your confidence going forward. So I'm going to let you guys go, and then still feel free to post questions and stuff on the group page, the Coach Basics page, and if it helps for me to respond by video, I can do that. And I can even screen share stuff if you guys, if that's helpful to you. Just let me know and we can do that. All right.
Okay.